fun begins.
Hello, welcome to the Council. We begin tonight's meeting of the Council by calling the Council to order. Hello to everyone and thank you for joining us. The Council is a live Twitch talk show and podcast discussing Star Wars The Old Republic. I'm Elise, and with me are my fellow Council members. Magic Ace.
Hola.
Redna.
Bonjour.
And Sakari.
What did I say last time? I got my Italian wrong. So Borna, that's Zulu. How about that? Oh my goodness.
Qualifies.
We're terrible at this. We're rusty again. I hate it when that happens.
Tonight we're going to talk about Star Wars Celebration. And I guess maybe a tiny bit of the 6.0, but really not the thing, just the Cantina.
Sure, that sounds convincing.
Let's talk about 6.0 next chat.
Right.
Well, I mean, we'll barely talk about it, but it'll be fun. After that, you can find. At least my daughter is up my arm right now. Do you think you could help me out here?
Sure. After the live broadcast, you can find our recording episodes everywhere podcasts are found and on our YouTube channel. Check out our social media and don't forget to follow us on Twitch. You can find our Facebook page at facebook.com/thecouncilswotor, our Twitter at thecouncilswotor.
I like Twiddle so much better.
I know.
Twiddle.
My tongue just didn't go right there. And I just had a flashback we can get to when we talk about the Cantina. Anyway, and our website at www.thecouncilswotor.com. You can also find our Patreon page at patreon.com/thecouncilswotor.
Yes, indeed. I love it. Also in chat said molto bene. So I love it when chat joins in. They kind of have fun with our games. Oh, hello and welcome to everybody. Good to have you with us. It's been a little while. There's been Star Wars Celebration. We're going to cover that tonight. We have decided to delay the 6.0 stuff. We're going to talk about that because we could try to squeeze it into this episode, but there's so much to talk about. We wouldn't do anything justice. So we're going to really dive deep on 6.0 next week. This week we're going to hit Star Wars Celebration and get the full download of what all happened. Elise is graciously going to probably carry the show, I imagine. All right, so the icebreaker question is just a question that we start to get chat going. The idea here tonight is, okay, between Star Wars, gaming, and the movies, in general, kind of, are you excited about what's coming up for the Star Wars universe this year? And explain why. Mr. Redna, let's start with you, sir. Are you, what's your thoughts on Star Wars in general? Like, is it headed in a good direction?
Well, I don't know. When I was told what the question would be, I prepared my answer. Yes, but I don't have an explanation.
Shame on you. We explain everything. Hello?
Yes, I'm really excited because there's an expansion and a new movie coming. Who wouldn't be excited about that? Especially because it's a real expansion.
Right. Yeah. So
We've literally only been crying about that since the show started.
Right. It's been a while.
I know. Well, we haven't been going for more than 3 years, so we haven't had an expansion to talk about yet.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we finally get to talk about what we've been crying about. We're like, oh, content.
So is this our first new expansion as a team, like as a broadcast team? Wow.
Yeah, because the last one was
It feels like it should have been
December 2016.
It's the first new expansion since Lee started playing the game.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Coffee and Kotet don't
that was
count.
there. Okay, so if we don't count Coffee and Kotet, you are
Right, I said real expansion, not story.
not fake expansion.
You are right.
Not
Yeah.
chapters. That's not an expansion. That's a chapter. It's like reading a book, like one chapter at a time. I'm like, oh, another chapter. I guess I'll put this down for 6 months.
Except for other games call their expansions chapters, but we won't go there.
Yeah.
Some.
Right,
yes,
so I'm talking
the whole
about this is like
industry is
literal
That is
chapter.
a minority.
This is legit like chapter out of a book, though. That's a little different because this isn't like they're just calling it a section. It's not like they gave you a part of an expansion. No, this is like literally like you get a tidbit of the story. Ta-da! Now be satisfied for 6 months.
Mhm.
It's a little different.
Yes, well, and the other games are responding to this is a new chapter in life, as in a major event, as opposed to, as you said, Magic, a chapter in a book.
Hmm.
Incomplete with no resolution.
Magic, let me ask you, since we just mentioned your name, what is your take on this? Are you excited about the direction Star Wars is?
Yes, but I'm also very cautious just because I'm a natural pessimist. But I would say, like, as far as being excited for new content, heck yes, I'm excited for new content. I would be a massive hypocrite if I wasn't, since that's literally what I've been preaching since day one of this show, was that we needed more content. And the fact that they announced like Operation, I'm like really excited about that
I can
because
imagine.
like right now I have a group that's progging God's name, and like when we're done with that, I'm like, well, now what? Like I'm already wondering, what are we gonna do now? Because after you get past Nahut, and Nahut's the most difficult part. So once you get past that, everything should be pretty much a breeze. So I'm like, then what will we do? So I'm personally really excited for that. But I am cautious because you said direction. Here's where I get cautious, because my direction that I want for Star Wars is not necessarily the one that the dev team is going to take it in. So like I'm just kind of worried that the story will start to feel like, I don't know, it's felt watered down to me because of our lack of choices. Like everything's cookie cutter. So like I'm worried that it's gonna end up like that too. Like they'll call it new content, and it will be new content, but it's like if it's the same story for everybody, they just change like one or two voice options that you could have because either you're an infiltrator or a saboteur or something, you know. If they only change like one or two conversation options, I'm not down for that. That's to me,
Okay.
that's a way to save money. So I'm very cautious when it comes to that. I'm because I worry that that's what they're gonna do. So for that part, I can't call myself really excited until I see it.
Okay, that's
Because
fair.
I've been burned. But from what I hear, and I was watching the announcement as they were announcing it at the cantina. Sorry, my daughter's playing with toys right by my computer. That was exciting then. When I was watching it, I'm like, wait, really? And then they used the example giving like SWTOR DPS love. Like they're giving them some love because SWTOR DPS right now has been shafted for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been learning SWTOR DPS. So I'm excited for that thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, it's good. Like, I guess we're getting some class rebalancing. They've needed some of them as hurt. Elise, the direction of Star Wars this year. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you have?
Yeah, I mean, the things I'm most excited about is, of course, Jedi Fallen Order. So I've been all about that game since it was announced. So super stoked about that. The books actually that they had, sadly I didn't get to attend the LucasArts literary panel or whatever it was called with all of the authors that were there. It was a whole bunch of them. That was on, I think, Sunday, and I was going home Sunday. So I didn't get to go to that one. But all of the books that are coming out or have come out, really excited. The Amidala one, really kind of wanted to read that one. The one with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan as a Padawan, I think that one looks really good.
What is that one
too.
called? Isn't that one just freshly released?
Yeah.
I've seen some chatter
that.
about that in the groups on Facebook.
Yeah. So I kind of wax hot and cold with Star Wars books. Some of them are good and some of them are not very good, at least not in my opinion. So I'm excited about reading them, but then I don't finish them all the time because they just don't get me.
Well, I
Maybe
think
it's
that's
because
fair,
I'm a
right? Because
I'm a movie person, so maybe that's part of my problem. But
well, this is totally my opinion, but I could also argue that with the advent of Legends, all of the books that came out since Disney made the purchase, it's also like because the previous content that was dropped in novel form came out of the 90s, right? But in the intervening years, the rise of the young adult novel has kind of, it's reigning supreme right now. And they've, instead of the previous novels that came out were more serious. They were more literary in style as novels go, and they used more challenging language, like they had larger vocabularies, as opposed to the young adult trope, which is very popular right now. But I also think that has actually
YA books, so that's really not
right.
my
But I think
issue.
because of the style that they've gone for, that's also sacrificed some of the quality of content. Not necessarily because you don't enjoy the genre, but because they've tried to go that direction deliberately, as opposed to letting the authors actually write the way they want to.
Or maybe plot
Timothy
intricacy.
Even Timothy Zahn's Thrawn novels have been nowhere near as good as every other book he published prior, in my opinion. Because his writing style is being constrained to this style that Disney seems to be imposing on all their authors.
So I didn't read Thrawn. My husband did. He actually said, maybe it was the new Thrawn book. He liked the first one. He's not been too fond of the newest one, but he said the Phasma book was really good.
Heard good things about the Phasma book. I also thought the one.
I will say that I didn't enjoy this last Thrawn novel the way I did the previous ones. Like, not even close, to be honest.
Well, and the other one that I really like is Dark Apprentice, which works with it covers Asajj Ventress at the very after the television series stuff, and that is actually my favorite one that I've read so far. Still, although a close second is actually Lost Stars as well, which is kind of
as close as you're gonna get to Darth Bane these days. So why not?
It's really close.
Lost Stars is adorable. It's a beautiful little love story. I love it.
Yeah, it's and very artfully written through. It's kind of a it's that, well, more than kind of. It's very much a reinterpretation of Romeo and Juliet within the Star Wars universe. It's pretty awesome.
My kids actually, like my youngest, actually, we got the Destiny. What's the one with all the kids novel with all the girls? It's female Star Wars characters. I can't remember, but the one that came out, at Comic-Con last year. Something Destiny, I can't remember. So my youngest actually read that, got it signed by the authors and read it, and he actually really liked that one. Oddly enough, I didn't figure he would. But he didn't see any books, the kids' books that he wanted to buy. Mike took him over there. So I kind of felt bad about that, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see. They didn't have any comics from what I could see, although I didn't go past the stand with all of the books. So, but
Forces of Destiny, perchance.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Thank you to Kid.
It's got the kind of
picked us up in chat. He's helping us out.
The cartoon character, whatever, of all the.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Whatever. So yeah, I am excited. I don't know what's going to happen with episode 9. It looks great, but I really could do without all the drama. I already went through Captain Marvel drama this year. I do not want more drama.
Captain Marvel's not done. We're going to see more of that for sure.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean all of the men haters,
I see.
Justice Warrior, like BS. Oh, Disney bought out movie theaters, and that's why the movie is doing so well. And I don't.
I see, like fan community toxicity.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my God, you missed it! Like, it was a huge thing. I cannot tell you how many YouTubers were getting clicks for that whole trope.
just posting toxicity essentially.
Well, if you don't like the drama, I would say don't pay attention to it because it didn't exist for me.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
Maybe that's why I like the movies, though. Like, I'm not actually watching these.
Not paying attention to these morons. I honestly didn't hear that they were doing that, but the idea of them doing that, it wouldn't be surprising to me. Like, I wouldn't go watch a bunch of videos on it, but the reason why I wouldn't find that surprising in the least is because if they want to push an idea, they have the money to push an idea. Like, they have ways to make it work. So to me, I'm like, right now Disney's the bad guy for me because of all the stuff they're buying that's ruining my childhood. I'm one of those people that has a little tiny World's Smallest Fiddle, and I'm like, my childhood. That's me. I'm one of those people.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah.
Well, I love it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I'm just.
What I like the most is the number of people that were such significant George Lucas haters, and then Disney made the purchase, and now everyone, those same people, are like, bring back George Lucas.
Yeah. They're like,
like, oh, just shut up. You're just way too happy being miserable.
just...
Get out of my feed.
Okay, so the whole like Disney buying out theaters is BS because I mean the movie has now broken $1 billion. There is no way that Disney is going to crap out on all of the income that they've made from the movie just to buy out studios. The movie did really well overseas, and it even did better of other ones.
Conspiracy theory. Anybody that gives it any credit is a fool.
Right. So anyway, yeah. So that's it. So Kari, go.
So I really like that as we went around the table here, we touched on the books, we touched on the games, and now we're touching on the movie. That's, in my opinion, that was like worked out perfectly.
I should throw out there just to touch the final touchstone, which is the comics. And to your point, Elise, a lot of people would agree with you, and I actually do agree with you. Generally, I'm a little bit less enamored with the novels that have come out more recently, but they've done more interesting things with the comics, answered in creative ways a lot of the questions in the comics, and quite frankly, a lot of what they're doing in the Star Wars comics has made me more interested in comic books than I have been since high school. Right. And I did go through my phase in high school. I'm going, this is like a golden age again for comics for me, just because of what they're doing with Star Wars. So.
I have to agree. I got my husband for Christmas. My husband loves Darth Vader. For those of you who don't know, he loves Darth Vader.
Yeah, and those Vader
comics. I bought him the graphic novels of the Darth Vader series. He's just missing the last one, and he said he actually enjoyed those more than the last Thrawn book that I actually got signed.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So they are Alexander Freed, who is a writer on SWTOR, is doing an Anthem comic series. Not this game, not Star Wars, but BioWare.
Yes.
He did the novelization of Rogue One, which I've heard nothing but good things about. I haven't read it yet, but my husband actually has it. And then he's written a couple of others, and he was on the panel on Monday about video game writing. And I think he was also there with his book. I think he has a Star Wars book out too, right? But regardless, it feels like the comics are kind of more, because they're so short and they've got some kind of younger people in there that are just started writing. I don't know. It just kind of feels like they've decided to, take it and here's my take on it. And it just, that short kind of more to the point. It's more like a short story a comic book is.
Yeah.
Really, they can get in and get out. They tie up their plot lines a little bit tighter and they don't meander. Yeah. That's my biggest problem with the Star Wars.
And I think there's a lot more of the original, like the creativity is coming out of them. You get some of that fresh things you haven't seen before, which is what the original Star Wars movies were about. They were doing things that no one had done before, and that's what I'm enjoying in the comics.
So yeah, I mean, my take on all of this is I'm excited at the direction. Episode 9, I don't know. There's too little that we know. I'm cautiously optimistic about that. I'm hoping that JJ. I mean, I've liked all of the movies, but as far as where everything is going, we're kind of painted ourselves into a corner. I hope that JJ can make it significant. I'm excited about the return, possibly, of Palpatine. Anyone's guess, right? That's a total Sakari thing.
I cannot tell you how uninterested I am.
back.
I think the closest they'll get is what they did in the books, which is because in the I don't even think it'll be the clones, that was more in the graphic
he came
novels
back in the
books.
I know the clones of Palpatine.
Leia went to the orbital debris of the Death Star and encountered an impression of his dark spirit there. And in that laughter was over the skeletal remains of the Death Star on Endor. So I could see them doing something like that.
He's coming back, baby.
That's the only way they could do it.
And I saw someone
said Palpatine is dead.
I saw someone.
They came out and said that. So.
I saw somebody. They were like on Facebook. Right? Why is Palpatine coming back? And I'm like, don't you like? I was like, SWTOR players, I understand that people come back from the dead. You've got Kefis, you've got Revan, you've got Malgus.
This is why I'm so uninterested. They
come back from the dead. Redna,
not
you're
something I'm
muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, it's because it's Star Wars, and what we've learned since the earliest days of Star Wars, if it falls down a hole, it survives. And the Emperor fell down a hole. Just because there was a
Well,
bunch of electricity doesn't mean he didn't die.
It
or that
bounces
he
back.
didn't survive.
Okay,
Oh,
but the
yes.
reason why I'm super uninterested in it is because it's like, for one, like they went the route through the novels and such, like, you know, Emperor Palpatine came back as a clone or whatever, and he temporarily turned Luke Skywalker to the dark side, yada yada yada, and he met Mara Jade, who was the Emperor's hand, and all the things that they ruined for me. Yes, I remember that. I know that Palpatine had a way to come back, even though it wasn't actually like legit him. But at the same time, I'm like, there's so many options out there, and you're gonna bring back a dead dude who's decrepit and who's not even funny. Like, there's no like really interesting thing about him other than he was the bad guy who was born and raised basically to take over the Sith. Sorry, my daughter is really loud. I know
He's
she is.
Sheev.
Sorry.
Everybody likes Sheev.
But I honestly, like, I'm not interested in the Emperor coming back, like, at all. Zero interest. Like, we thought we got rid of Revan, he came back. We thought we got rid of Malgus, he's back.
Magic
like,
Ace wounds me.
died.
I thought she was my
It's
fellow
very
Sith.
frustrating.
She was my fellow Sith, but she's
am
wounding
a
me
fellow
in my
Sith.
heart right now.
No, I am. A Sith. I love the Sith, but I also appreciate, like, Sith ghosts, you know? I
Right.
appreciate the tombs being haunted and us learning things from them. How, like, Bane.
Oh yeah, and holocrons
studied
and
the-
such. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm down with all that. Like, yeah, let's do that stuff. But bringing back literally
Actually,
everybody
pass
who's
the
ever
torch kind
died,
of thing.
I
I
have
am-
zero interest in.
Now, so I am actually very interested, except for in the expansion where we had Darth Maul show up as a light side Force ghost somehow. Let's ignore that because the
I think
rest
he's more
of
afraid.
all of the Star Wars universe would not have permitted that. And part of the reason is I really liked it. There was a distinction, right? The fact that,
loved
like,
Darth
essentially the Sith were trying to find eternal life, to physically live forever.
Right.
And then the Jedi, their culmination of knowledge resulted in their ability to remain existent as the Force Ghost and go where they please, right? And then what was introduced, and I was actually okay with it because there was a caveat, a stipulation. The dark side ghost could remain, but it was tied to a location or an object, right? It was anchored, and it was almost as though it were trapped, right? And it couldn't go about where it went.
And whatnot.
Right, exactly. So, and I liked that. I do not like the premise that they, that they could effectively find the same knowledge that, Qui-Gon Jinn brought to Yoda and Obi-Wan and eventually Anakin. And also, the one thing I'm glad to not see in this teaser, because I was seeing headlines that I never clicked because I didn't want to read them. I'm avoiding spoilers for this movie. But I keep hearing, Darth Vader's coming back. Darth Vader's coming back. Not Anakin. And I'm like, did you not see Return of the Jedi?
I was about to say, he can't come back unless he's fallen again after he died. He's like, I know I promised you, Luke, but I seen what you did afterwards.
But they put him on the
JK.
fire.
Even after death, I can go back to hell. It's like, it's okay.
All right, so we need to move on desperately here because we're having too much of a good time getting caught up on something.
Yeah.
So
some of this we could talk about in deliberation.
We have a poll, believe it or not, that Redna actually ran online, and we thought, hey, let's bring that into the show. So, Elise, can I turn that over to you to walk us through the options, and I will send.
Redna, since it's Redna's poll, I can read it.
Redna, we can do that if you'd like. I am currently sending the poll question to chat. So everybody read what the attendant said. It's going to be the announcement. It's going to give us choices A, B, C, etc. If you would like to vote as our chat friends, feel free to type A, B, C, or D into chat, and it'll I guess tell you up the score for us here in a second.
You put D. Oh, I've got my sound on. I don't know how to turn
Okay, cool. You going to do it?
D. D is supposed to be A. You inverted it. Well, you didn't even invert it. You just took A, put it at the bottom, and then ran it. So it goes good, not enough.
Yeah.
Bad,
We'll talk in terms of the what they mean instead of the list. So okay, do you want to, Redna? Do you want to walk us through your options and why you picked those as options?
Or did you want me to
find that? Okay, so the question was, so SWTOR is getting an expansion called Onslaught with 2 new planets, an operation, a flashpoint, increased level cap, gear that modifies gameplay. So it's more than just upgraded gear. It's actually a very revamped system with new set bonuses and apparently like a lot of set bonuses. A new playable species, the Nautilin, and naturally story.
Mm-hmm.
With the soon more to be told TM
Right.
put on there. And also they were doing, like, the developers were actually doing interviews as a part of the Star Wars Celebration process. So, like, in my mind, this is like actual legitimate marketing to the greater Star Wars community.
I know, which we've also been begging for since the show started.
Right. That got me really excited. So, how do you feel, right? And it's rereading here. Okay, so A, resub or returning, good. So it's a good, right? And B, it's not enough. C, EA bad. BioWare sad. Never. Because there are those people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And D, great. A real expansion.
Yes.
Clearly.
Now, that's not what we have on screen. But that is the order in which the options appeared in chat. So just heads up.
You want to vote in chat? I'm speaking to the live community.
That is not what that said.
Right. So really, we have the kind of the lay of the land, right? We've got people that are angry. You know, I've got an option. There's no good that they can do. There is the I am over the moon excited about this, and kind of some stuff in the middle, right? Sure, I'll come back and try it out. Or no, I no matter what they do, I'm kind of gonna be hour on them for now. So that's kind of how I see the options.
Yeah, to me the it's not enough is, there's this one thing I've been waiting for, like, all I play this game for is GSF, and I quit because that hasn't been updated for 4 years, and there's still nothing for GSF, so it's not enough.
I see. That's for like the niche players.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the smallest population in the game. Hello.
So Redna,
they haven't gotten anything new for 4 years. Duh.
Redna, the question.
That's the only reason.
The question is your question. What of those would be yours?
Well, I mean, just by the phrasing, one ought to know the answer is great, a real expansion, because I have never called Kotfi or Kotet legitimate real expansions, and I've been vocally against calling them that.
And the build up to them was like garbage in comparison to like the Rise of the Hutt Cartel or Shadow of Revan, like absolute garbage. They're just like, here's a trailer, surprise, you've got content coming. We're like,
well, the Blur trailer was significant, but
no, it was really cool, but that was it. There was nothing else.
They went to TwitchCon and got all those.
And they announced it at E3 with the Blur trailer too.
They
so
did.
I mean, from a marketing standpoint, that's the last time they made a concerted effort.
Very good.
But,
that was
from a content leading up to it effort or anything like that, there was nothing in game that led up to it other than that Dark versus Light event that they, took away from you once you achieved it.
Yep.
So. But and it's basically they're like, here's a bunch of story. Oh, and we're gonna, for no apparent reason whatsoever, we're gonna raise the levels 5 just to say that we, it's an expansion. We increased it 5 levels. There's new gear because we arbitrarily decided to raise it 5 levels so we could call it an expansion. It's,
right.
Yeah.
I love that in chat right now we have some GSF players speaking out. Like they're like standing up for their game mode. It's this is great, guys. I just love it.
Listen, I'm not personally testing your guys' game mode, okay? Play what you want to play. It's your $14.99. I'm just saying it's not my jam.
Sorry.
So Elise,
how about if I dive in and answer the question so I can get us going?
Sounds good.
So I am I'm somewhere between great, it's a real expansion, and resub or returning good. I have a bit of Magic Aces skeptical optimism.
I thought you were going to say narcolepsy.
God, God, I'm tired. I want to get excited, but it's Malgus.
Yeah, no kidding.
I hate him. So I'm just kind of like, and I was underwhelmed by the Sith version of our prelude story on Ossus. So I'm just kind of like, is this going to be the kind of story I want to see? I'm not expecting them to go back to, the choices matter, like original stories. I just don't think they're going to be doing that. I really don't. That's not the kind of.
I think
We
it's
didn't
going to
get
be
anything
on
from.
rails for sure.
Yeah,
Like
I think
Magic
it
Ace
might
is
be.
worried about. I think that's actually going to
Yeah,
come to pass.
I do too.
If it's as
I just.
good, I think if it's as good as the McKeb story, which just objectively was a very good story, just because it was the most diverse outside of launch that the
I
story
didn't
had.
like
It had.
McKeb, so
I
that
understand
doesn't
that you
make me
didn't
feel
like
it.
it. I'm just saying, as from a writing perspective, whether or not you enjoyed it, it had more depth than anything that followed it.
Yeah, McKeb was hard to traverse. It was one of those planets like Terrace,
And
hard
it
to get around.
truly.
That
It
did, yeah, that
truly
was also
decreased
problematic.
my enjoyment of the story.
And
of
they do
McKeb.
that on purpose. If you
So.
take more time running around having to get places, take longer.
Right, and the problem is that those arbitrary time gaps also make it hard to follow sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean, give me a story that has two factions that are distinct, and I think that's going to be the best you can hope for. And I'm not even convinced that's going to happen. I mean, realistically, what they should be doing, based off of the content we've received recently, which is clearly the direct precursor towards this launch, right? Because this is the reintroduction of Malgus. They should actually be providing us with two different faction stories, along with continued sabotage storylines. They should actually be giving us 4 with this expansion, just to tie it to the story that is announcing it, right?
Sure. Yeah, so Magic, do you have any thoughts on this? Like, what would your vote be out of the 4 of them? You all.
What?
Expansion is coming. What's your general attitude toward it?
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I got you. I would definitely say it would be D. Like, I'm really excited about it. I'm like, yes, please. Like, please give me legit content, because I remember not too long ago in one of the episodes we did, I straight up said they're going to have to come up with some really good story content to help me fall back in love with this game, because currently at the moment the only thing that keeps me here is nightmare content. That's the only thing that's keeping me here. Not because I enjoy doing a Sorc for like the 30th time on each server, I mean, as much as I do like my Sorcs, like that's kind of not why I'm here at this point anymore. So I personally, I'm excited for it because that's what I need. That's personally what I need. And like I said, the new operation. Oh
yeah. All right. Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I want some intricacy and story. I don't think we're gonna get it. But at this stage, as far as story is concerned, I'm happy for pretty much anything that is cohesive, that will advance this, the story. I'll take it, even if it's a little lackluster. New content is a good thing. So that's kind of my take on that in a nutshell. I'm going to. We need to kind of move through this, but let's send the results to chat. The results are as follows for our chat.
Cool.
We had 4 votes for resub, returning good. We had 0 for it's not enough. For yay bad, BioWare sad, we had 1. Is it you, Redna? Is it you? And then 6, we're real happy about it. So by and large, I think our live audience is kind of stoked for this, and or maybe where you are, at least, where they're kind of tentative on it, but they'll come back and give it a good shot. So that is pretty cool. As far as live is concerned,
and realistically, I don't know. I've discovered about myself. I just wanted to put this out there regarding the story and everything. Like, it's something that I've been discovering as I've been going back and playing other games since playing this game. During the lull, I've enjoyed other games, and I've discovered like, as much as of the BioWare fandom as there is out there around story-driven narratives and everything. First of all, I don't think that they've got the sauce anymore as a company.
I agree.
And second, I don't know that that's even what I played the game for. Like, MMOs, I don't think, as well as this game does at it, and I do think this game is better at it than any other MMO I've played, I don't think that's why I play MMOs. I just enjoy playing, shooting blasters or swinging lightsabers and actually engaging in a playable environment. I'm less interested in the delay of the story sometimes. I'm not going to ruin it by telling somebody to spacebar. Come on, hurry up, spacebar. But at the same time, I'm the story's not what I'm looking for in
I'm
an
not
expansion.
space barring because I haven't seen this in a long time. So before you ask, the answer is no. I prepare them.
And I will grant you, when I'm streaming, I tell them I'm not spacebarring. I want my stream to hear this. And then realistically, I spend my time talking because it's a lot of fun to just sit there and talk in the chat room.
That's hilarious. Buy some time. Yeah, no kidding.
There's a reason why there are different kinds of games. So, I mean, that's good that you figured that out about yourself, Redna. That's why we have Bloodborne, you know, and like the Sekiro is the new kind of that version of that game, and that's all about boss killing, and there is story in those games, but it's very kind of, you have to find it, and it's like
it's more the WoW
codex
model.
It's like codex kind of story. There's no like cinematic storytelling. So I mean, there's for every game there is a player. But yeah, I have to say there is
don't
definitely.
Get me wrong, I do think if they went back to the original model with what they launched with, I could enjoy that. But I frankly don't care, and I'm not wasting my time with anything else. Like, if you can't give me 8 distinct stories that are different based off of sex, or if you're a different alien race, or light side and dark side, because that's the depth that we got originally, then frankly, it's all just lip service. It's incomplete. It's half-assing the job. Excuse the language. You know.
It's yeah.
You broke our rule, Redna.
It's half donkeying the job.
It's not replayable, and that's my problem. That was my problem with Kotfi and Kotet.
Well, yeah, there's only so many times. I mean, but anything's like it. There's only so many times you can watch the movie over.
That sucker so hard. I'm like, don't care. Like, it just gets faster.
My life is too short to spend it playing through content that I don't want to listen to.
Sure.
So,
especially when I
hated
it the first time. It was repugnant. It was like the worst storytelling of any video game I'd played. From my perspective, I know a lot of people really, really enjoyed it, but I despised it. Like, there wasn't a single choice that was one I wanted to make. It did not represent any way that I actually wanted to play that story, which is like, and it was freaking lauded as, your choices matter, except I don't get a single choice that matters the way I want to play the game.
Alrighty. Well, save all that for the next episode.
Yes, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into, believe it or not, in even more depth than we did this. Elise, what can you tell us about how Star Wars Celebration went in June? Because I think after all was said and done, out of the 4 of us, you were the one who attended. We didn't get to be there, although we would have loved to. So you were there. You were on scene.
I bought a ticket and I couldn't go.
I know. I
That's even more
it.
tragic than just not being able to go at all.
When Mox told me you weren't coming when I got to the table, I was like, what?
Yeah. He and I were like working out like lodging and all that stuff. I was so bummed. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, get in the car right now. Come on, you go. I'm like, you don't understand. I can't. He tried. He was a real trooper. Yeah, he really tried to help me.
He was like, he was trying. So first off, I had super duper amounts of fun. I don't know. Are you putting up any of those pictures, Sakari?
Call them and I will put them up. They're in the show notes, so you know.
Okay, so shout out to my Star Wars fan community table for SWTOR. The SWTOR fan community table. I think that was our name, right? Got to meet lots of content creators, folks in the community. That was fun. Got to meet up with AJ and Zen, and got to see a bunch of people. I only got to see them on whatever. AJ, which I didn't have that picture, but dressed up as like the solo version of Lando. He looked great.
Oh, I've seen him in that. Yeah, that's a great outfit.
That's my first time seeing it. So he was great. So that was so much fun. And then I got wasted at the cantina at the table. That was fun too. My husband just enjoyed bringing me drinks. And so like when Teresa did my interview, if I sounded ripped, I was. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, I love the messages you put in Slack. That was great.
Let me think. So many people, so many cosplayers. At the table, the one picture with someone holding the silver lightsaber, if you want to put that one up, I believe those arms belong to Jess.
Oh, let me see. Which one was it?
The guy's holding. There's a dude dressed up, I think it's Revan, that has.
Oh, okay,
A
yes.
purple
Revan, we were just looking at there. Yeah, the silver lightsaber. Okay.
So
On the right.
that is the lightsaber that the two hands are holding. That's in the middle of the picture. That is actually Zen's Satil Shan saber recreation.
That is cool. That is
That thing's
awesome.
metal. It's acid etched, so it has kind of all that patterning that you can see in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
That actually is like metal. That thing is metal, and it's like engraved in there. And the gentleman who actually made that lightsaber showed up, and we got a picture with him
That
too,
is cool.
holding it.
I think
But,
that Luminara cosplay is amazing as well. Like, it's on the left side of the screen. I'm just looking at it now.
You're welcome to put up any and all of those pictures. But so those are Jess's arms. That is Zen's lightsaber. It made noises. He had to take the blades off because of the rules of the convention. But really heavy, like super cool. We had some like Uber cosplayer fans that were whipping it around and pretending like they were real Jedi. I was nervous. I don't know if anybody else. I was afraid somebody was going to
poking their eyes out, as the saying goes.
No, I thought somebody was going to take it over. This one lady was throwing it up in the air. I'm sorry, Zen. I'm so glad you weren't there because I about had a heart attack. Anyway, and then he showed up at the cantina dressed up as a Jedi. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, if you want to show any of those pictures of those cosplays, the Visas Mar, there was 2 that I saw there.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I was super excited about that.
I think Visas
excited that I knew who it was.
Visas Mar is. I'm going to say I love how well represented the KOTOR era is. You know, there's a lot of people that are showing up. Visas Mar is tough to play because you're blinded essentially by the costume.
Right.
You know.
I had more pictures of the KOTOR era. There was a Satil Shan, so the Bastila and the Satil were in a picture together, crossing lightsabers in some of the pictures for the cantina, which I didn't give you because I didn't think we were talking about that today. So my apologies, you all. Fine. We can put it in next episode. My kiddo is actually the one in the OSU shirt. He loves stormtroopers, so we had to hit all the stormtroopers at the.
Yes. That stormtrooper picture was really cool.
Yeah, the Amidala costume was amazing. And I think she was in, if you look at Star Wars Celebration, I think they did her. Another one that I absolutely love, which I didn't put in here, but it was on one of their pictures, was they had a picture of all the handmaidens, the Amidala handmaidens in like the orange ombre costumes, right? And then a picture of Amidala, in the black when she was the decoy or whatever. So they got a picture of all of those, and there was like 2 or 3 dudes in that group. Yeah, it was just awesome. I love that picture.
So Redna put one in the show notes. Like, let me see if I can make a slide out of this one.
So that was Padme, not Jamilia?
You mean the one with all the... I'm going to cough.
If it has the feathers on the head, I can't see which one it is. If it has the feathers on the head, that was actually the chick. Her name was Sabe or something like that. She was the... decoy for Padme.
Well, no, but there was a similar outfit to this one. I can't remember exactly. The queen, when Padme had become an ambassador or whatever, the queen had an outfit similar.
Yeah, there was a couple of those. There was a couple of them where they go to the lake house or whatever, that has the really plunging back in the back and kind of the shoulders off. There were several of those there. There was a couple with the circular headpiece part, that outfit. I'm always blown away looking at the cosplayers because they make all that, and I know
it's amazing.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, no matter which queen, Padme or whomever, as represented from Naboo, for cosplayers, that must just be like a freaking gold mine. Some of those outfits were just so like,
Yeah.
they blew my mind. I remember when I watched it in the movie theater the first time, I was just like, holy crap, they just held nothing back. And it really did make it feel like regal and magnificent, you know. I loved it.
So the cool thing is that the cosplayers of the Old Republic, I think I'm probably butchering their actual like name. They were in they were next to us. They coordinated
really?
with
Okay.
SWTOR, so that literally was I was standing at our table and I swung around and was taking a picture like that. So they were right next to us. And then, of course, we got pretty much all of the cosplayers that had anything to do with Old Republic time were showing up
Really
at
cool,
the
yeah.
SWTOR booth. So it was really
That's a perfect
cool.
way to cross-pollinate. And hey, by the way, you know, you're cosplaying this character. You can play in that time period
Yeah.
online.
It's legit. It's Star Wars. It's right. I like that Nihilist. He was great. That was a good. You know, it's hard to get the shape of him
And then
right.
and I can't remember what is her name again.
Yeah, I
The
agree.
Miralon picture. She was
Luminara
behind.
Unduli.
Yeah. So I was like, "Hey, can I get a picture of you?" And she put her stuff back on. She had taken like her lightsaber off, and I think she had taken maybe her wrap off, so she put it back on, and then let me take the picture. So
That's
she
really
was
cool.
right
That's
behind
cool.
us. So that was pretty awesome. So I mean, it was cool to have all these like people all over the place. My husband loves to looking at the cosplayers, so he was like, you know, Then this was all in the big exhibition hall, right? So all the way around us, there's stores and like stuff. I think actually Geico had a booth. One of the baseball teams had a booth. Was it Cubs?
All right, fine, sure.
Cubs had a booth.
Really?
Yeah. Like I think it was either
The Cubs
Red Sox
of all the
Cubs.
teams, the Cubs. Okay.
Well, that's because
one
it
of
was
the-
in Chicago.
My
They are the
husband
I
Chicago
know, but
Cubs.
it's
I'm sure
the
somebody will
Cubs.
correct me if I'm getting which one wrong, but one of the two baseball teams had a booth. Um, there was
to
an
me is like-
Amazon treasure truck there that was
goodness.
selling discounted, like they had like specials every day on Star Wars stuff. So that was pretty cool. And then in the center was kind of a stage, and then the 3 screens where you could watch the big panels. The big panels were actually in a theater that was not in the building we were in. You had to go out and across the street to another building to actually get to the panels themselves. And you had to queue, you actually had to get in line days before to be able to get a spot to be able
Yeah,
to
that's what I
get
hate about
into it.
conventions like this. It's like
So,
the queuing. Stuff.
So you had to EQ beforehand, and I won
Pre-queue.
Yes, so you had to like queue. It was like being if you go to Disney and you get the fast pass. That's what it was like. But just imagine the fast pass being random, of whether you get to ride Space Mountain or not. That's what it was like. So the only one that I won was the Funko booth, and my husband proceeded to buy all the special edition stuff for whatever. I only voted for 3, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I bought them all." So that was interesting.
So
Anything else?
Yeah, I did pull a photo of my own off of Reddit that I think Sakari says he has ready to share.
I have here. It is.
This is the one that came up that I remembered, so I actually went and pulled it back up. I love this photo. One, I just at Halloween since Force Awakens came out, we have seen these little girls running around the neighborhood during, you know, as Rey. And I love the Rey cosplay, and it's like ubiquitous. And there were so many Rey at Celebration, and they got them all to line up in a row and recreate the Rey mirror scene from
That is really cool.
Last Jedi. And I just think it looks cool, and they're all doing the snap, you know. And so
I was looking at that, going like, "Are they doing the Z snap or something? Is that what that is?" But you made it make sense.
Yeah.
So thank you for saving me from my stupidity. That's really cool. My goodness.
It is. Did you see the one? There was somebody put up a tweet A mom had her little girl, with the little girl, the 3-year-old fighting Kylo Ren, and he was like, they were like doing the hand, and he was like
That's
falling
awesome.
back, and it's just awesome that like the cosplayers totally, totally get into it, and it's so much fun, and that's really what makes
Yeah,
conventions
they're
really
not just
so good.
dressed that way. They can kind of play. They can role
Yeah.
play it as well a bit.
I'm not a big cosplayer myself, but I am looking forward to Baby Gamer being old enough for me to cosplay her.
Right. That's awesome.
Living vicariously already, Redna?
So I think that's a general. Probably should move on to the
Yeah, so
cantina.
that's good. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the cantina. But we're trying to avoid talking about 6.0, and I know that was like the
Right.
centerpiece of the cantina, so it's a little bit challenging. But
So
tell us about
real
who
quick,
was there.
before I move on. When they did the announcement for episode 9, um, Marie, I'm having a moment, but the fact that everybody gave her a standing ovation when she came out
Oh,
on the stage.
Tran. Yeah.
And then Ian McDermott, Ian how's
McDiarmid.
his- Thank you. Yeah.
E. Palpatine, whose birthday is the same day as mine. I want you to know.
It came out and appeared up on the. So we were watching it in this big room, the panel on there, since we didn't make it in. When he came out and said "run it again" or "do it again" or whatever it was, everybody goes ah! It's like a football stadium sized building just starts screaming. That was pretty awesome. Okay, so the cantina. Shirt as I have it.
Very cool.
Okay,
Yes.
the new one. All the devs are wearing this. There was actually some Anthem devs
Was
in
this
there
in a
along
swag bag
with.
that you got that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that was everybody got it. That's awesome because I really, really love that combo.
Uh-huh. They were all wearing hoodies on theirs or jackets and stuff because it had the name of the expansion on the back. So Musco talked about that. He and Charles basically recreated the kind of banter that they do on live streams on the stage. Like they'd come up.
I don't doubt. Yeah.
So if you watch the live stream, you'll see it. But highlight for me was Charles reading the crawl that's going to be for Onslaught. That was when he was dramatically reading that. That was awesome.
Okay.
He was all dressed up, wasn't he? Like super
Yeah,
cosplay.
yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He cosplays whenever I've ever gotten together. He's been in something.
I had a picture of him, and I'm sorry I didn't put it up because I was doing this at work. Shh, I was doing this at work.
Yikes!
We won't
Elise.
tell him.
And sadly, he took a picture with my son and let Ian hold his lightsaber, and I thought I got it, and I didn't. I took the picture, it didn't load because of the bad Wi-Fi in the building or whatever, or my signal was bad. And so when I went to go look at it afterwards, after he left, I was like, no. So
That was a good picture. Yeah.
it was.
Would have been.
With my son holding the lightsaber with Charles behind him, looking all like intimidating or whatever, and I'm sad that I lost that. But anyway, so lots of people, the line, like it took us 20-30 minutes to get in because there were so many people. I think they said it was either their largest community
I don't
event
doubt.
or second largest community event ever in the history of the game, which is pretty awesome. They were at Star Wars Celebration in Orlando, so I mean that's pretty good that they got that many people there this time. So many cosplayers, so many new players. So Teresa and Kid Lee streaming it was pretty cool. Me being ripped when she finally came to come talk to me was probably not good because I couldn't remember for sure if
I don't know. I'm probably going to be entertained. I'm going to go back and watch.
We are going to put a link in the show notes for this particular episode to the Kid Lee.
I do, as long as you said
live stream.
The Council SWTOR once or
did.
twice. I don't mind if
did.
you forgot my name.
Yeah.
Slip it in there, yeah.
And I was like, so afterwards I was like, I think I got our website wrong. I have to be honest with you. That was like 2 drinks in. I was 2 drinks in. And for those of you who don't know, I don't drink fast.
Lightweight. Yikes.
I was. And my husband was the one who was my drink pimp. So
Yes.
he was like.
Boomy streamed the cantina as well. That's worth mentioning. Thank you, Arjar. Brings it up in chat. Very good.
Let me see. What else? We got limited edition pins. I think everybody gets the flare, right?
Ooh, I need to go claim that. I haven't done that in game
sure,
yet.
but he did say the people that
Posters
were
are
there
great.
got a flare. I'm not sure if you get a flare, if you put in.
What is the
the
code?
same
Can we
one.
put that in chat real quick?
Yeah,
It's SW Cantina.
It's basically a
Star
reskin
Wars
of last
Celebration
year's, but
19,
different
I think, or
text.
something like that.
Can somebody, Mox, you're the one I trust the most, you or Kid Lee, find the Cantina code that people can claim. SW Celebration 19, is that the one?
Yes, I
Fantastic.
believe that's
Thank you,
it,
guys.
yeah.
If you haven't claimed that yet, go do that, because there is some really cool in-game decos that you get if you redeem that code.
They
That's
took a
really cool.
picture of like there was a ton of Old Republic cosplayers, so they had this big like picture with all of them up on the stage. There were a lot of new devs there that I had not seen from New York, so that was cool. I don't know if they just didn't they didn't go to New York and they came, to Star Wars Celebration, which I don't blame them. Like I said, there was some Anthem folks there too. There was free drinks, but not as many as New York. To be honest with you, my husband said he enjoyed New York better. New York was a little.
Maybe that's why.
It was smaller. You
Right.
had Timothy Zahn handing out drink coupons.
Yes,
I mean,
that would have been.
Yeah, right there. Nothing else matters. If you had that, then of course it was better.
Right. I mean, like he still talks about that he thought it was awesome. We actually got to talk to the devs more. That would probably be my biggest complaint, not to throw shade, because it was a lovely event. I really did enjoy it. But Keith and Musco and all the devs kind of walked around and mingled a little bit more. In New York, this one there were so many people and it was so big that they just didn't really get a chance to do that. So, it is what it is. So I think that's it. I like it.
It's very cool. Thank you so much. We do definitely appreciate the download of information because, like I said, not all of us were able to be there.
I did have one question.
Yeah.
I haven't Googled this to find out, but did they announce or give any information regarding the sequel to the Star Wars Solo story?
I don't know because I didn't get to go to any of the movie panels. So
I thought you said you went to the episode 9 reveal.
I got to watch it up on the screen.
Ah, okay.
Because I couldn't. So what they did is they live streamed it to the where I was. I was in that building with all of the stuff, and in the center were 3 big screens that all of us could watch that didn't make it into the queue. Because remember, there are hundreds of thousands of people, and there was only 100 people that could fit into that.
Mm.
So,
and then the other quick question: did you actually see any gameplay of Jedi Fallen Order, or just the same?
No.
Trailer that we all saw. Okay.
Yes, but the voice actor was up there, the devs were up there, we got to see costumes, some concept art.
Well, which is worth mentioning, at least anybody that is tracking it. They have made the pledge not to have any microtransactions in the game, so I hope they hold to that. If it's a straight up 100% pure RPG as it's trying to launch as, if they can buck the EA trend, I will.
Okay,
it's a little
so
sad that they have to make that promise.
I can say something really quick. I know we need to move on, but so this is Respawn. Vince pretty much doesn't take much crap from anyone. We watched him do it when they were talking about Apex Legends, and an EA marketing person tried to do spin, and Vince's listened to him and then went, well, whatever that means, when they were talking about Titanfall 3, if there's going to be another Titanfall 3. And they were like, oh, we haven't given up on Titanfall 3. And Vince was like, well, whatever that means. So and he's the game director.
Yeah.
Like he is.
Aw,
And remember, he
that's like
came from
dash everyone's
Infinity
hopes.
War. He created Infinity War and went through all that crap with Activision and Infinity War. For anybody who remembers that, he is that Vince Zampanella. So if anybody is like step off, it's gonna be him and Respawn. So
Right.
I feel pretty good. And it's not in Frostbite. It's Unreal 4 because they were making this game before they were acquired by EA. So remember this, yes, it's now owned by EA, but they started this before they were acquired by
So
EA.
it's looking
So
good. The direction's
it's
looking good.
It's different, and they tend to push back a little bit more than any other studio I've seen with EA. So I feel good about it. It looks good. The guy who plays the Joker on Gotham is the main character in Jedi Fallen Order. Just
Yes,
I am
very
super
cool.
stoked. So
All right, guys, we need to jump into like basically wrap the episode up. Let me make sure we get some announcements in here super quick. Number one, because of May 4th, may the 4th be with you. From April 29th to May 6th, there's a cartel market sale that is going on. 50% off collection unlocks, 50% off all appearance options, appearance designer stuff, 40% off all available stronghold decos, 35% off available mounts. So there is some really cool discounts that are going to be going on. Look for that starting April 29th.
hold on.
Yes.
Do we know? I'm going to hope that maybe developers will listen to me. Please unlock or discount hide head, please, for preferred and free play.
Okay. Yeah.
Please for count, please.
Since Elise
No
is
2000.
preferred now.
Okay, keep going.
Right. Oh, the pain points, I'm sure. Another item to make sure is on the list. 5.10.3 is currently, I think Pirate Incursion is what they're calling the event. Dantooine is the planet that is now on the public test server. So if you are looking to go check that out, that's up. Go do that. And we're mentioning Kogass earlier. There's an interview that he did recently with Eric and Charles. We'll make sure the link to that is in the show notes. And also, like I mentioned earlier as well, Kid Lee and SWTORista's live stream of the Cantina. We'll make sure to have a link of that as well. And if I can find a link to Boomy's one, I'd like to put that in as well. So stay tuned to the show notes. We'll see what we can.
I feel bad. I'm sorry. I didn't know I could stream it. Otherwise, I would have kept going.
Hey.
I started to, and I stopped because I wasn't sure if I was allowed.
I was told that they were looking around trying to find people to stop them from streaming because, like, I know a friend of mine, he was streaming, and he kept his phone down so like they couldn't see. That way he wouldn't get in trouble and get told to shut it off because he said people were watching. There was a couple of times he like slammed his phone down into his like jacket and stuff like, oh, hey, look at this over here, acting like he wasn't streaming.
That's funny. The bootleg copy of stuff, I guess, right? It's like slipping a video camera in there. So anyway, over to you, Magic Case, if you'd like to thank our guests.
I absolutely would. We here at the Council SWTOR would like to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who participated in chat today, for people who were just wanting to, hang out and watch the episode. Like, we appreciate it. You guys are fantastic. So, thank you. We appreciate it. Oh, and our patrons. Thank you, patrons. You guys are fantastic.
And that brings us to the end of the episode. The council is adjourned. If you'd like to reach us, you can email us at thecouncil@thecouncilswotor.com. You can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/thecouncilswotor. And you can find Elise on Twitter at abrown35, Magic Ace at the Magic Ace, myself at R3DN4, and Sakari at I am Sakari. Also, don't forget our Patreon page at patreon.com/thecouncilswotor, where patrons can catch the articles we're talking about behind the scenes and exclusive backstage access to our after show chats. And you get to be thanked by Magic Ace. That's it for this week, guys. Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong.
I understand.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you be on the council and not be a master?
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
Forgive me, Master.